Hello and welcome into the second episode of the series where we're playing CWA in the Cverse TEW 2020, and it's also the second episode of our TV show Championship Wrestling. Let's go ahead and get into it. We open the show. Mountie Man, Mark Dubois, and Prince and Price are already in the ring across from the DeColt Boys and David Stone. David Stiderick welcomes us to the broadcast hailing from Ottawa, Ontario. Total Elimination is this Saturday, he says, and the trajectory of one wrestler's career is going to be forever altered. He lets us know that this match was booked earlier in the week, as all the men involved officially joined the Total Elimination match last week. In a bout that had good heat and decent wrestling, David Stone and the DeColt Boys defeated Dubois, Price, and Mountie Man in 11:39, when Ricky DeColt pinned Mountie Man with the DeColt 45. Um, so it's kind of like a fun, spot-filled way to open the night. Everybody's getting their big moves in. Finally, the bad guys get the upper hand, but in the end, Price is, yelling at Mountie Man to get the tag because he wants to get the win, pin Ricky DeColt, get all the glory. So Ricky takes advantage and hits that DeColt 45. Everybody went pretty well. David Stone was the weak link, but that's not surprised. He was off his game, but he also benefited from having a hot new move. So we'll have to think of what that hot new move is and throw that in there next time. All right. The Queen's Court are backstage gloating about defeating Amber Allen and Zoe Amos last week. My girls here may be talented and will take over the women's wrestling some take over the will take over women's wrestling someday, but they're not supposed to be any match for the great Amber Allen. Yet they made quick work of you, didn't they? Snow says. She's obviously completely ignoring that her interference is the only reason that Young and Conroy won last week. On Saturday, we will see who the real top of this division is. You're playing checkers, Amber, we're playing chess, and everyone knows the Queen is the strongest piece on the board. So everyone gets a 54. Not great, but we're getting there. All right, that's a better segment. Not surprised with Aaron Knight in it. Knight and Wildside are seen in the locker room with Knight giving Wildside some friendly tips. You can hear Knight say, "Now, if you use any of those on me on Saturday, we're gonna have a problem." They laugh, and Samuel Curran approaches to get Knight's response from Cameron Vessey's promo last week. Knight kind of deflects and focuses on the total elimination match and says he's focused on the goal at hand, which is getting that title shot. But it's pretty obviously that it's insincere and that he really just wants everyone to think that he's not worried about Vesey. Knight says he has an interview to do with a local radio station, so he excuses himself. As he walks out, he physically bumps into Skip Bow. Anybody who knows Cverse, well, not anybody, you may know. It says in their profiles on there, Aaron Knight was kind of a jobber. He was known as Ian Identity. He had a short run as a tag team with Skip Bow. They won the titles, and then he turned on Skip Bow and then turned heel, and that's kind of how he stopped being a joke and got his act together, became who he is today. So, obviously there's some tension. They kind of brush it off, but as Knight walks off, Bo looks annoyed, and the look on Knight's face is even more troubled than it was before. Segment gets a 71. Your Knight came across well. Sunny Wildside underperformed. Skip-O benefited from having a hot catchphrase. Not sure how he worked it into that situation, but we'll figure it out. You can use your imagination. And the angle got the crowd hotter. All right. In a match or a bout that had decent wrestling but didn't have much heat, Laura Flame defeated Sandra Shine in 7:48 with a flame fire kick. They're using it essentially as a showcase for Flame without being an outright squash. Commentary just puts over how Flame is one of the most intriguing prospects in all of women's wrestling. She did pretty well, 60. All right, another decent match. Shooter Son Dealey defeated Acid in 6:28 by submission with a front choke lock. I said the last match wasn't an outright squash. This was. Acid gets a good reaction. We brought him in, as you saw in episode 0, to kind of just be a jobber. Um, he gets a pretty good reaction from the fans. A lot of them know that, his career is winding down. They're excited to see him in the company. Dealey plays right into that. He just craps on the crowd's good time, beats up Acid, and only takes a break to kind of gloat to the crowd and mock them. Acid's gimmick got an initial rating of great, which is awesome. And I think I said in the last episode I was going to try to stop saying anything about the color commentary and announcing, because it's always good at this point, basically. All right, another pretty decent promo. Generation Z. Okay. What am I doing? Gen Z, Haley Hunter, and the brothers Kane. They're backstage, and they're on opposite sides of Steve DeColt's office, with a group of security guards in the middle. DeColt said he wanted to tell both the teams this at the same time. Then he realized how stupid that was, hence the security. But that due to their ongoing feud, he had booked a match fitting of the back and forth of all the drama and violence to finally, hopefully, settle it all. On Saturday at Total Elimination, the teams will compete in a hardcore tornado tag team match. Gen Z try to look brave, but you can tell they're nervous, and Kane brothers just smile ear to ear. That's their wheelhouse. Steve DeColt was good as always. Enjoyed just reading to go off script. Angle got the crowd hatter. All right. Mr. Impact is shown backstage after a commercial break. I just left Steve DeColt's office, and the board of directors has decided that I, Mr. Impact, the star of this company, needs to be on TV more. But instead of giving me a weekly talk show segment, or letting me speak my mind to those ingrates in the crowd in whatever podunk town we're in that week, they've decided that I have to defend my CWA television title at a minimum of twice a month. Who the hell do they think I am? My matches are premium TV, and you just wanted to loot that? He says that regardless, he's the man. He's badass. He'll get the job done, no matter how stupid he thinks it is. Gets a 63. All right. Get my mouse to work. All right, and about that had good heat and some decent wrestling. George Wolf defeats Diablo Duvac, 13-25 with a running power slam. The match was set up last week by Steve DeColt, and then a backstage promo. Duvac starts off fast, hits all the high-flying maneuvers. He even sends Wolf reeling to the outside with an enziguri. But when he goes for a crossbody outside over the top rope, Wolf catches him and hits him with a backbreaker and then slams him onto the floor at the ringside. From there on out, the story's just kind of Wolf's working over Duvac's back, with holds, strikes. Occasionally he's throwing a suplex or a backbreaker variation in there. Duvac is he's stuck in the bear hug, and, he's draining. But, so he musters up just enough strength that he just headbutts Wolf. And Wolf just kind of looks at him and laughs and doesn't even budge. So Duvac takes both of his arms and, does the old classic, claps him on either side of Wolf's head, gets his ears ringing and all that stuff, and that's enough to break the hold. Duvac runs wild, and, just eventually he hits everything he's got, but the power and the strength of Wolf is too much. Catches him as he's going for a reverse Hurricane Rana, hits him with a like an electric chair drop, whatever you want to call it. Then hits him with that running power slam for the win. Segment got a 65. All right. Yeah, not great. It's a video from earlier in the day. It's a, just kind of basic promo from Antonio Del Vecchio. He's talking about Total Elimination match. That's what everybody's talking about. But as he wraps up, the camera starts to linger and pan over to the side on Jared Johnson and Johnny Bloodstone chatting it up backstage. It kind of appears that Johnson's fired up and possibly he's upset with Bloodstone, but, we can't really make out exactly what they're saying. Samuel Curran was very underwhelming, which I've seen that a couple times now, I think, maybe. Jared Johnson looked good. 51, the segment got. We have a little segment here where Lauren Easter and Demelza Wade make their entrances for their match like normal, but then Brooke Tyler's music plays and she kind of struts her way to ringside. Segment gets a 61. And then in an extremely short match, Lauren Easter defeated Demelza Wade in 4:55 by pinfall with a belly-to-belly suplex. Lots of squashes going on this week. But that's essentially what it is. Demelza gets a few licks in. She hits like an eye poke to Easter, but, the boss quickly regains control and eventually hits that belly-to-belly and it's game over. Segment rating at 60. Right. In a poor match, Thunder and Lightning defeated the Rock City Stars in 8:06 when Lightning Lomas pinned Stan Mana with a Thunderstruck. Yeah, damn. Both teams are, just kind of trying to one-up each other. And the high-risk moves, they slowly escalate. Lightning Lomas goes for an elbow drop, but Ryan Turner moves and he immediately goes after the elbow that just crashed into the canvas. And, it was all kind of, competitive spirit up to this point, but it seems that might have turned the mood. They work over the arm. Mana eventually runs up the turnbuckle while holding Thunder's arm. He's going to hit bounce off the ropes and hit like a springboard arm drag. But it's one risky move too many. Thunder yanks back on his arm and Mana bounces off stomach first, hits his abs, midsection off the ropes and bounces into the ring. Thunder hits him with some moves and tags in Lightning Lomas, who hits him with the Thunderstruck for the win. Adequate debut rating for Stan Mana, and very good for Rocket Ryan Turner. Segment got a 59. Not great again. Ooh, that's probably the worst one we're going to see. We're going to definitely not do this again. 37 for the segment. Teams are going to shake hands. Rock City Stars raise Thunder and Lightning's hands. All's good. They're leaving the ring, and Faith, Thunder, and Lightning, they all stick around. They say they heard Drake Young mention their name last week, that he said that they were challenging the Dynamite Express. You know what? He's absolutely right. We won the Tag Team Grand Prix. We're hotter than any other team in CWA. We are challenging you. Cam, Sid, are you man enough to accept? Again, really bad. Segment got 37. It's a little bit better, but I have a feeling we're going to lose a little bit of pop on this episode, but that's all right. Hopefully we can win it back with the pay-per-view. We do some ads for merch or whatever, and we cut back, and we're told that the Elite already have a response to Thunder and Lightning's challenge. Drake Young is being his usual boisterous self, talking a massive game, says no one's on their level, especially the two Disney Channel looking goody two-shoes, Thunder and Lightning, but we have a way to decide if you're worthy for a match. You can get through this challenge, even we'll have no choice but to respect you enough to give you a shot at the titles. Tell him, Christian. Price says that Thunder and Lightning have to beat another team that will provide elite competition, and, well, you're looking at that team right now. You guys are going to have to face off with Blockbuster and Drake Young. Drake Young looks shook, he's realizing as this is all going on that he's going to have to back up everything he just said whenever they face off in the ring. Segment got 72. Ooh, that's going to save us. Whenever I said that we were going to lose some pop, that's probably not going to happen because we just got an 88 for our main event in an exceptional match. I can't even talk, it was so good. Cameron Vesey defeated Skip Bow in 12:59 by pinfall with a Vesey driver too. Early on, Vesey seems to have Bow's number, but eventually Bow uses, he's kind of a powerhouse. He uses his brute strength to, he's just reversing or escaping whatever Vesey can throw at him. He hits a military press into a gut buster, and that turns the tide into his favor for a while. He's, just hitting all his big moves, looks like he's really getting it in on Vesey. He goes for a massive running clothesline at one point, but Vesey, ever the student and tactician, he has his opponent scouted. He kind of ducks beneath his arm and swivels his hips around and just hits a super fast, lightning quick German suplex on Skip-Bo. Really high angle landing on the back of his shoulders, base of the neck. Bo pops up immediately, though. The crowd pops, Nobody thought he was going to jump right back up. It's like it didn't even affect him. But as soon as he catches back up, Vesey was already a step ahead. He hits him with a running boot. And that sends Bo down. And then, gets him up, hits the Vesey driver. It's the end of the match. Again, an 88. Probably, well, Vesey got a 90, but Skip-Bo is a supporting role in the feud right now between Vesey and Iron Knight. Not sure if that's a spoiler, but maybe you could tell by our little segment earlier. But for the second week in a row, Vesey is seen to close it. And this time he's victorious in the ring. They had great chemistry too. That definitely helped. All right, we will see you next time where we are at Total Elimination. Oh, well, actually, you guys probably want to see 79. No popularity changes, but it's above what our popularity is. And we didn't lose anything, so I'm not mad about it. All right, guys. Go ahead and wrap that up, and we will see you at Total Elimination.